Heidi had been in business less than a year, seemed to be surviving. But increasingly, when Val stopped by to check on the property, the closed sign was in the window during what should be peak hours. Val had had early misgivings about renting to the woman, but Heidi paid the deposit and 2 months' rent up front, so Val hoped she would be successful. It wasn't until 2 months' worth of rent checks were late that Heidi informed Val she was closing the coffee kiosk permanently. This wasn't Val's first tenant to abandon a lease owing her money, but it was still disappointing. It meant she had ignored her inner voice and taken a gamble that proved regrettable. Unlocking the back door, she was greeted by the strong smell of coffee, not a fresh, appealing, first-thing-in-the-morning coffee aroma, but a stale, strong stench of burned, reheated coffee mixed with mold and sewage. She stepped back, nose stinging and eyes watering, drew a deep breath of fresh air, then entered. The floor was a speckled mess of what she suspected were coffee grounds, along with dried milk, sticky, sugary coffee flavorings all smashed and blended together in muddy footprints. Paper napkins and cups, stir sticks and paper towels, all of them dirty, added to the mess around the room on both the floor and counters. The door to the small bathroom in the back corner stood open. The toilet had overflowed. It looked and smelled disgusting. Val gagged and her eyes watered at the stench. "You have got to be kidding me," she grumbled as she lifted her sandal from the sticky floor, drawing back a long string of something gooey. If she had known what she was walking into, she wouldn't have worn her new capri pants and wedge sandals. Fortunately, she had a broom, mop, trash bags, and everything she'd need in her car, because none of the cleaning supplies she kept in the tiny closet were still there. Anything and everything that wasn't attached to the wall, floor, or counter was gone. Even the fire extinguisher from the holder of the toilet paper spindle were missing. From the angle of the refrigerator, Val suspected they might have tried to take it as well. The only spot that wasn't dirty and sticky was a square patch on the stainless steel counter where the coffee maker once sat. She pulled her shoulder-length brown hair back into a ponytail and went to work, first clearing the toilet with a plunger, then collecting trash. From the looks of the dried-on mess, she suspected she'd be mopping at least twice, if not more, to clean and disinfect the bathroom and scrub sticky coffee stains off the floors. She filled 3 trash bags with litter and refuse. The gentle morning rain added to the sultry atmosphere, making the air heavy in spite of the pleasant temperature. She opened the sliding drive-through windows to vent the strong odor now mixed with cleanser and to cool the sweat that rolled down her face. She had just returned from loading the last bag of trash in her car when a 30-something couple in a shiny new BMW pulled up to the window and honked. Val could hear music from their car stereo even before she came to the window. She leaned out and said, "Sorry, we're closed." "White chocolate mocha with a double shot and a caramel macchiato, both venti," the man said through his partially lowered window. He bobbed his head in time with the music. "We're closed," she said, leaning further out the open window. "What?" He clearly couldn't hear over the sound of his stereo. "No coffee!" Val shouted and shook her head. A woman in the passenger seat leaned over the driver and waved a piece of paper. "We've got a 2-for-1 coupon," she yelled, as if that made a difference. "No coffee," Val mouthed, realizing they couldn't hear anything she said. There was no closed sign she could show them. Heidi had even taken that. Val shrugged and shook her head again. The woman finally lowered the volume and peered up at Val. "How can you be out of coffee?" she demanded. "I'm sorry, but we're closed, and I'm not a barista." Val didn't want to admit that the previous tenant had gone out of business. Hopefully someone else would be moving in soon and reopen, even if not as a coffee shack. She didn't want to discourage future customers from returning, whatever the new business was. The woman tossed a narrowed scowl at Val and said to her companion, "She's just a cleaning lady. She doesn't know how to operate an espresso machine, even if she had coffee. Come on, Jerry, let's go to Starbucks." She wadded up the coupon and tossed it out the window. "I may not know how to operate the machine, but I know it's espresso, not espresso, you little twerp," Val called after them. Val closed and locked the window. She wanted to finish cleaning and leave before more would-be customers drove up demanding service. And if Heidi thought she was getting her security or cleaning deposits back, she had another thing coming. The pictures on Val's phone were her evidence of how the building was vacated. She had a feeling she wouldn't see the delinquent rent checks either. It wasn't worth the attorney fees or the aggravation to sue. It took another 30 minutes of wiping surfaces before she was comfortable the building.